Welcome to Educate, Inform, and Challenge. My name is Teresa MacLennan, Executive Director of the Women and Children's Shelter of Barrie. We're so glad you, our community, have joined us today for our show. And as you know, the purpose of our talk is to highlight the lives and experiences of women right here in our community. Of course, we talk about women in business and politics. We talk about women experiencing gender-based violence and human trafficking. We just really want to highlight, what is the world like for women? And so we are always thankful that you come alongside us in these conversations. Before we begin, we do want to thank our Indigenous community and partners. Thank you so much for allowing us to share in this space, to learn from your knowledge, your expertise, your history, your culture. It means so much to us, and it helps us all to grow and to learn and to be a better community. And so thank you so much. So today I am thrilled to be interviewing my friend, my guest, Anne-Marie Kungl, and many of you know her as one of our fantastic women Barrie City Council members. But she also plays a very important role as the executive director of the AlzheimerSociety of Simcoe County. And we all know what incredibly great work, important work they do for our community, for our families, for our loved ones, for ourselves. And so we're going to dive into that incredible work today that Anne-Marie and her team does, some important events that they have going on. And so I'm really looking forward to this conversation because I know it's going to be incredibly helpful for all of us. So Anne-Marie, welcome. And it's just really nice to talk with you.
Thank you, Teresa. And it's always good to connect with you, another female leader in our system and in our region doing incredible work, making important change, and also helping those of us come along the way with you on your mission. And so it's always a pleasure to be in your company.
Thank you. You're just lovely. And for our viewers, there's a lot of incredible women in the community, but I just have to say, I feel like I always gush when I'm talking to Anne-Marie because she is just really such an incredible woman. And so I know that you know that already too. So we're going to dive in and we're going to unpack this. So Anne-Marie, I know, and I think I've already shared many, but you wear many, many hats in the community. Can you just kind of give us the broad scope of the things that you've been involved in, that you are involved in?
Oh, thank you. And I've been so fortunate, and through women like yourself who've opened doors to different tables and conversations. And so I'm quite privileged on being able to say that I'm a second-term City of Barrie councillor. I represent Ward 3. I am also the current board chair of our Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit. And I've been able to serve on important initiatives to my heart around food security and women's advocacy through the Simcoe County Women's Advocacy Council. And I have been in this role as the executive director of the AlzheimerSociety of Simcoe County for just over a year now.
And so let's dive into that because I feel it is such an important organization that means so much to individuals and families who really need incredible support. Can you talk to us about the nature of your agency and the work that you do?
Mm-hmm. We have the benefit of having such a dynamic team and an amazing amount of volunteers and supporters who donate their time or their money and their feedback around helping us become better known in community. So our goal is to really help individuals living with Alzheimer's disease or other dementias and their care partners thrive, and helping people to understand what that can look like and what that can mean. And so we do quite a broad range of programs and services. So we're covering all of Simcoe County, and that includes the City of Barrie and City of Orillia. So a large geography, and most of our teams are out in community. You won't find us tucked into an office. And so we're out there making connections and working with partners such as yourself around making sure that people know that they can reach us and that it's okay to do so, even if you've got questions. So you don't have to wait for a diagnosis, but for anyone that thinks that they might need to connect in, we're here to help.
And I really love the distinction that I think is good to be made. Do you think that most people think that dementia and Alzheimer's are the same thing? Is there a difference in that, right? Because I think that maybe Alzheimer's, of course, gets a lot of, coverage, but can you just help us to understand that differentiation?
Mhm. Alzheimer's disease is one type of dementia. And so there's a whole range like frontotemporal, vascular dementia, and sometimes the dementia is really a range of symptoms, kind of an umbrella of different symptoms that someone can experience. And not one person is the same to another. So the progression of how those symptoms show up, where they start, how progressive they may be is quite unique to an individual. But what's really important to know is we know that dementia is not a normal part of aging. And we're constantly working to make sure that we can break down the stigmas about dementia or the fear or anxiety of what would it mean if I started to lose my memory. So we're here to help around if anyone's noticing changes, to help promote staying connected to your medical team. And we can help you bridge the navigation of different programs and resources that could support you and your family members from point of diagnosis all the way through, which could be a very long life of changes that you may exhibit across the lifespan.
I think this is going to be a really helpful conversation for so many in our community, for myself included, because I want to know more. I always feel like knowledge is power. And how do we equip ourselves with as much information that maybe we need right now at this time to know some of those red flags or some of those concerns, right? And then take the right steps that we need to, right? So before we kind of dive into all of that, because I'm really looking forward to that learning, let's start with what programs and services you offer, because I know there's quite a large menu. And like you say, you are Simcoe County focused, which is quite a large area. So what is it that your organization can offer to folks?
It's quite a broad range, and all of our programs are available in person or virtual. So we want to make sure access, however we can support getting you connected, finding a way to do that. And all of our programs and services, because we've been so well supported by members of the public and businesses, have given us an ability to be able to provide all of our programs and services for free. So I'll lead with that. So when you hear me talk about these programs, they're all available for more information, but we do want to make sure people know we will work with you to figure out how to participate in some of the benefits. So everything from education, what have I been diagnosed with? How do I understand it? If I'm an individual living with a diagnosis or types of dementias and I'm experiencing changes, finding out more information. And we can connect you with one of our family support coordinators or what's called a First Link Care Navigator. And these are really individuals that will work with you and your care partners and your family members to help you have open and honest conversations about how you're feeling, how you're managing the information, changes along the way, and how to wrap supports around you as you need them. In addition to that, we know we're talking about brain health. And so there's a lot we can do today that will serve us better as we go forward. So we want to promote that through education, and we want to help people, businesses, libraries, first responders, to be trained to understand if you're receiving someone that might have a challenge communicating, might feel agitated, might not be able to express themselves in a way that's clear. We do free training around how to be dementia friendly, and we're doing that right across Simcoe County. And so if you walk into the MacLennan Arts Center in Barrie today, you're going to see a decal on their window that says they are a dementia friendly supporter. Their staff have been trained, and we're doing programs right inside the art gallery called Creative Spark. And our next one starts running actually in a couple of weeks.
It's amazing, right?
It's amazing.
I have never heard of this before. And I think what a incredibly great idea. It also kind of aligns with some of the training that we do, which is trauma informed. So And that is for folks that will work with people in the community or may interact with people in the community. How do you have a sensitivity to what that person is bringing to the table? And of course, for us, it's always that trauma-informed potential signs of dementia that the person may be experiencing and how that might get exaggerated in situational things.
Yeah, we've got a dynamo team, right? And
Yeah.
part of our education team, they will come and support you as an agency, as a business. They will actually connect in and do public sessions. So if you've got a book club or a particular group meeting in the community, Rotary Club, they'll come in and help you understand, signs or what you might see and what you might want to consider. So it's all about, being judgment-free, creating welcoming spaces, and really helping an individual, regardless of how they might appear to you, to be able to help redirect them in a really positive, friendly, kind way.
Amazing. And so because you are largely volunteer-based, I should imagine that maintaining fundraising and donations is vitally important to your existence.
It is. We have about 60% of our budget is funded through the Ministry of Health. So we're quite fortunate at least to have secured funding that we know year over year, it's there for us. And our programs can be relied upon by members of the public and anyone that needs them. And they are growing in demand. So even this year, I think month over month, we've had higher rates of referrals to us than ever before. And some of that we can meet with supporting with programs. Some of our programs will help with respite. So a really unique one that the government of Ontario has funded is called in-home recreation. And we're able to take 2 of our recreation therapists and they will do one-on-one in-home supports customized to that individual living with dementia. And that also affords a time for that caregiver to be able to take time for themselves and making sure that they are recharging and reconnecting with things that they enjoy. Yeah, so we're quite fortunate.
Yeah, it is such a great service. And I know that there's going to be a lot of folks who are watching today who are going to say, you know what, maybe I have some concerns about something that's happening for myself or a family member, and I want some information. I want some resources. I want to know where to start. And so, we really hope that if you're watching today and you're curious or you have some questions or concerns, that you will consider reaching out to the Alzheimer's Society of Simcoe County as a first step to get the information that you may need. And so I know that there's a lot more services that you offer. There's a lot more for us to talk about. So what we're going to do is we're going to head into a very brief commercial break, and we're going to circle back to this great conversation. So please stay with us as we continue this conversation, and we'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Are you low on food? Struggling to pay the bills? Overwhelmed by life's challenges? When you need support but don't know where to turn, just dial 211. 211 connects you to the programs or services near you.
211, how can I help you?
211, help starts here.
What kind of show do you want to see on Rogers TV? What interests you? Log on to rogerstv.com, fill out a show proposal, and tell us about your segment idea. We want to know what you want to see. Rogers TV, only on Rogers.
Welcome back to Educate, Inform, and Challenge. We're having a great discussion with my friend Anne-Marie Kungl. Of course, you know her as our local Ward 3 Council member, but she is also the Executive Director of the Alzheimer's Society of Simcoe County, and we are having a great discussion. Great learning about the services that they offer in very, very important work for all of us here in the community. And we're going to just pick right back up. We were talking about the multitude of services that they offer. But Anne-Marie, I know that there are some new initiatives that you are taking on. Would you like to talk to us about those?
I would, thank you. One thing that especially for our viewers watching, that's quite new to us, and we're very happy to have been able to support it, is a project called Project Lifesaver Simcoe. And this is really part of that continuum of what we offer around supports to individuals. If you've got a loved one that's at risk of wandering, and we know timely response is an important response, this is something that we've been able to migrate from local champions that started this as volunteers. Chris and Derek, sorry, I might have to correct myself there. But these were two volunteers, Chris and Darren, and they were through the Barrie Chamber, who started the program around 2017, 2018. And what it is technology that's a bracelet, that's an FM frequency, and it helps to ensure that police who are connected to the program can actually make a very targeted search for an individual that has gone missing. And so if anyone's interested in that, it's kind of on that continuum of other types of resources like Medical Alert and different types of Wi-Fi based location devices. But this is one that works whether you're living near a water body or dense forest, can work in a parking garage where you can't get Wi-Fi. And right now we're supporting individuals who may be in their senior years at risk of wandering, but also some of our kiddos that are living with autism. And so it's outside of what you might think we typically do, but it's definitely an important part of us being a community partner and supporting individuals who have loved ones at risk of wandering. So right now we offer that program to residents living in Barrie and South Simcoe. And just today we had a beautiful conversation with Collingwood OPP around the opportunities to expand this program across Simcoe County.
I think that's terrific. And I think it is a ray of hope. I cannot imagine the fear that family members may have for, their elderly family members or their child who may have any kind of special needs where there is a prone to wander. The concern about them becoming lost and not knowing how to find their way back home, how concerning that is. So I think it is a wonderful idea, a wonderful tool. And we really do hope that if you're listening and it's something that you want to learn more about, that you will reach out and ask the right questions that you need. It can be a great support for you. And so I know that there are great events also that your organization leads in the community to bridge awareness. So I know that there's some of them coming up. So I want to make sure that we have time so that our viewers know about them so they can become involved and support you. So let's hear about some of the events that you have coming up.
Oh, thank you for that opportunity. Every year we have our walk, and this is a great day, a family fun day, and we're back at Simcoe County Museum. They're an important partner to us, and we are hosting that on the last Sunday in May. So this May on the 26th from 9 till 1, come and join us at the Simcoe County Museum. It's really a day of celebration. We want to thank our volunteers, our sponsors, our donors. We want to embrace and connect one-on-one with individuals we're supporting and their families. And some individuals have been with us for so many years, raising funds for us. So it's a key fundraiser for us. But above that, it's a great day just to come together and say thank you, because we are so grateful for the support that we have, whether that's a volunteer that's been with us for decades, or our new youth that's coming in and enjoying a co-op placement and is starting to experience an understanding of what we do and the breadth of the importance of work around supporting an individual living with dementia. So we hope to see you there. And right now, if you've got any questions about registering a team or joining our team, you're welcome to connect with us, and we hope to see you.
So that is your most soon upcoming large event. Do you have other events that are maybe a little bit later on that you want to give a shout out to?
We do. So that's our IG Wealth Management Walk. In addition to that, we're very excited and we will soon be promoting a bike ride. So the Barrie Colts Foundation gave us a beautiful sponsorship, and we've partnered with Quail's Brewery in Coldwater, and we are looking to host our first Forget-Me-Not Oma's Ride. And I'm calling it Oma's Ride because my Oma, my grandmother, her birthday is close to that date, and we lost her years ago, and she was living with dementia for some time. So we want to make it personal to showcase women in our lives and men in our lives that we know have lived well and have been supported by so many. So we want to hear about how this is important to you around supporting the society. We love to know your why you're connected with us, how you can help, and really embracing all members of our community to take part. So we know this is touching so many lives and so many families, and this ride will allow us to create another event for community to get connected with us on, but also bring us into different parts of Simcoe County. So we are very excited to be at Quail's in Coldwater. And then we are hoping we are back on the ice in a rink doing a bond spiel in January during Alzheimer's Awareness Month.
Is that curling?
That's curling. So we had our first Forget-Me-Not Bond Spiel with the Barrie Curling Club this past January, and it was a hit. So we are going to try and do that as an annual event, and hopefully also move that type of event across Simcoe County.
That sounds great. There's a lot of great things that are coming up. And so if you are interested in becoming involved, or really, financial donations are very important to all social service agencies, really think about becoming involved. And so to that vein, how do you use and how do you need volunteers, Anne-Marie?
Thank you for asking. Really, we will try and match you to where you're passionate about volunteering. So we have volunteers that are coming into the MacLennan that are supporting individuals doing art programs. We have other individuals that are coming to our events. So if you can only spend the day with us and not a particular number of hours a week, then we will find a way to make sure that you're connected to something that matters to you. So whether you're a board member, and we've got an amazing board, and we're always looking, of course, for diversity across our region and across different roles. So we have individuals that we'd love to get engaged. We're going to start up our social cafes across the region, and we hope that those would be supported by volunteers. So from anything you can imagine that we touch from programs, we are excited to basically be making sure that volunteers feel like they're just another member of the team.
Mm-hmm. So talk to us about what is the cafe? I'm very curious about that.
So the social cafes were something that started just before the pandemic, and we're hoping to restart them. And they are really volunteers that may identify a particular restaurant in a community that might have space and be a welcoming space to meet, maybe every Saturday morning, and just connect. And we heard that this is something that people really missed after it ended for that period of time. This is where we're getting that social connection. This is when we're talking to someone else who might be a caregiver, who's gone through something we're experiencing now, that can give advice, that can empathize, that can create a friendship and a connectivity, and to help us feel like we're not alone in this. And we will do that as a staff and come in and sit down and have those care conversations with caregivers. A lot of our work is with caregivers. But in addition to that, it's those meaningful connections that you can carry on. And we know respite and support really is only happening Monday to Friday in most areas. So how are we bridging some of the work we're doing in our programs to making sure people are connected when programs end for a period of time and they restart, and that we can help people take some time to connect with others on a weekend?
If you were to think about the difference between what are the needs of the individual who's living with dementia and that person's caregiver, what would be kind of the different path that they're coming from in terms of what their needs are?
I guess I'll reflect on a conversation I had recently with Dr. Gordon Flett. And I sit on the editorial board, and it's a public-facing website of resources called Dementia Dialogue. And Gord is a Canadian research chair and does research in the Department of Psychology at York University. And we were talking about the work he does on mattering. And what is mattering, and what does it mean, and what does it mean in the context of caregiving? And I would say I'm seeing this a lot, which is validation, right? When we take on a role of caregiving, it can be all-consuming. It can be how we define ourselves for a period of time. And how do we adjust out of that? How do we care for ourselves while we're in it? How do we, when we're done that role, find something new and energizing that is good for us and meaningful? And so I think we need to recognize and thank caregivers, because in this health system, and we know the onset of dementia is just exponential if we don't start putting in good public health policy and practice. And that really comes down to healthy living, active lifestyle, meaningful connections, and that's really important. So even from our staff and those partners across the system that are helping individuals navigate their way through challenging times, making sure that we recognize that the work we do is important. And if people didn't have that caregiver in their life, what would that situation look like? And helping to make sure that caregivers don't lose sight of their importance along the way.
And what do you think is important for the person who's living with dementia?
I hope that they know that they can live well and thrive. And sometimes I struggle with, well, what does that mean? What does it mean to thrive? And so I think it's paying attention, right? So we really try and embed ourselves in a person-centered care approach, not doing for an individual, but being there with them and supporting them in their readiness and letting them know that we're here for whatever they need. But there are ways in which we can help people maybe be ready for accepting different phases in their life and embracing that in a way that brings them joy. And so I think for us, it's also making sure that we remember if someone changes the way in which they express joy or hope or fear, that we get to know that individual and we get to be part of making sure that that individual's voice is heard.
So I think on that note, we probably have about 1 minute left. And I want to make sure that folks know how to find you, find your services. And so can you share your website with us, maybe a name of someone to contact when they call in? How can people find you?
So don't hesitate to call. So our number, 705-722-1066. You'll probably connect with Kim at our front desk, our office administrator, or any member of the team. So there's really no wrong way to navigate, but reach out to us. And without giving you a complicated web address, if you're on Google, just throw in AlzheimerSociety Simcoe County and you'll find us. We're open 8:30 to 4:30, Monday to Friday. Our programs run all year long, and we usually do every 3 to 4 months, we'll set up a whole new program guide for you. And so if you're interested in something but are not sure if it's a good fit, just call.
Anne-Marie, thank you so much. Valuable information for all of us and a great resource. So please check out their website, Alzheimer's Society, Simcoe County. Give them a call. If you just have a question, you're not sure, maybe you might be experiencing something and you don't know. They are a great resource. So thank you again, Anne-Marie, and thank you to our community for being part of our conversation today. And we will see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.